Sorry, somebody called and threw me off, but I was talking about the path back to custody. This path back to custody involves like my getting a lawyer, finding a psychiatrist that this is for my number for mental health evaluation number 6. She ordered me to go to someone who cost, and she ordered me to pay a $5,000 retainer, which I don't have, to get another evaluation to then bring it back to the court and prove that I don't have mental illness, I guess is what I'm trying to prove. Or I don't know why they need another evaluation. It's all just bullshit. There's no real reason. So, but when I do that, then I can have therapeutic supervised visits for $200 a piece. So that'll be $800 a month alone with my daughter, and then bring that back to the judge, who already like has separated me and my daughter for a year and a half. And to let basically by the time that I fought this, if I had $50,000 to $100,000 to fight this, by the time that I did, my little girl wouldn't be a little girl anymore. She's already growing up so fast, and I'm without a mother in her life, and we're both suffering so much, and this could have all been avoided if my ex-husband, Chris Benincasa, didn't get the New Jersey family courts involved and didn't have a lawyer. And so that's why I speak out, so to speak, against Joe Benincasa, because look, he hired this lawyer and spent over $100,000 on her alone. He also paid $30,000 for this guy, Jonathan Wall, to do a very biased psychological evaluation on me and Chris. And even though he spent all that money, the guy didn't diagnose me with any problems. In fact, he said that Chris's self-report said he was at risk of a drinking problem, which he is. He does have a drinking problem. But he didn't, the worst thing he could say about me was that I took my daughter outside on a windy day, and I let her stand on his sofa, on his couch during our session. And believe it or not, those two things were actually used against me as a justification for separating me and my daughter. So that's how insane it is. I'm just trying to make these videos to kind of, I just gotta keep talking about it and keep recording it, because it's impossible for me to organize all this into one like cohesive YouTube video. But I want to tell my story, and so I am. And so here's another letter from Andrew Benincasa from years ago, where he accuses me of doing exactly what him and his family are doing now, only the funny thing is I wasn't doing it back then, and now somehow they're doing it. They were like afraid I was going to take Ava away from them, so they took her away from me, and that's okay. Hey Cutlers, hope you're as well as can be. Of course, we're all having a challenging time. The Benincasas have a family week at the beach in anniversary of Kate's passing. This was three years after his sister Kate passed. Now, not that I don't have sympathy for that, but they actually had a lot of sympathy for that. But they, and I did offer to bring Ava to the beach for the memorial and everything. For my brother's memorial, they wouldn't even respond to my text, and definitely would not let me see my daughter. So if you're thinking, boy, she's really heartless, that's the anniversary. I mean, I actually tried to accommodate him, but it just wasn't under their terms exactly. We've been planning it since April and let Suze know, and have been asking since then that Ava get time with us. I drove down with my parents yesterday, anxiously hoping we'd get to see Ava this week. We were hopeful, but weren't surprised when we learned today that Suze would not let my brother pick Ava up. Right, I wouldn't let him take her away from me. But I offered to bring her, so that's not parental alienation. That is compromise. Compromise, see, people like Andy who are really used to getting their way, they don't understand that. This has been the unfortunate pattern for the past 7 months. We make plans hoping to see Ava, and the last minute the plans get canceled. It happened on Ava's birthday. Right, I wanted to be with my daughter on her birthday. I invited them to be with us on her birthday. Unlike them, I have missed her 5th birthday and her 6th birthday because they don't invite me to. So they're the ones who are refusing to co-parent is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I want to say this directly but not melodramatically, Andrew Benincasa writes. It hurts that we can never plan on seeing Ava, and we are afraid that about it, what it might indicate about our future relationship to Ava and hers to us. Are your relationship with her father, uncle, and grandparents going to thin? She forgot my mom's name months ago. I saw her. That's because she was a 3-year-old and she calls her Grammy, so she thought her name was Grammy. She forgot her name was Nancy. I mean, come on. I saw her for an evening 2 weeks ago, and we went on to have a great time, but it took a while to recognize me. So, as you can see, because he saw her for an evening 2 weeks ago, I was definitely letting them have visits, and I was also this whole entire time trying to get us all together. He never had to go to the courts. Okay, these things compounded with the fact that we cannot plan to see her, that we can't plan to have any activities. So he's just crying because he couldn't make plans. But now that they have not let Ava and I have any contact since Christmas, and it's now almost Christmas again, it's now November, for the past 11 months, no contact at all, cut phone calls, everything. That's somehow okay because they were afraid that this might happen, that what they're doing to me and Ava might happen to them. Why would they be afraid that I would do this? I never gave them any indication that I would keep Ava away from them. I always offered to bring her to where they were. I offered for them to come visit Ava and I, at the time we were living with my parents. I never ever tried to prevent their relationship with Ava. I just didn't fork her over because we were getting a divorce. My ex was divorcing me, and we didn't have any arrangement yet. I didn't have a lawyer. I still don't have a lawyer. And people act like, oh, if you don't have a lawyer, you're stupid. Oh, or you just, even if I had a lawyer, even if I had $200,000 to spend fighting my ex in family court, they would always have more than that. So that's the thing about fighting someone much, much wealthier than yourself. It's like, unless I have an endless supply of money like my ex-husband does, I mean, I could fight with all my might. I could somehow magically get $200,000 and spend every penny, and he could still outspend me, and whoever spends the most wins. So, I mean, what would be the point of that even? By the time I did that, I would be traumatized or dead, and my daughter would be grown up, which she's gonna grow up and find out the truth one way or the other. You know, it's so dramatic the way he writes. I will read this in another thing. I don't even feel like finishing that. I'm going to upload these and then make more.